Hi folks, welcome back to B Mills Farm. This is an episode of Small Farm Sunday. Today I'm going to be talking about pig feed and fermenting and why. My mama's getting very annoyed that I'm playing with food out here. You've already eaten today. Well, hopefully she won't be too loud the whole time. So I'm gonna do her ration, which she gets to sustain a hog. To sustain a full-grown hog, or one that you want to breed, a sow, a gilt, a boar. Usually people give them about 5 pounds a day, which is what I do for her. I measured it out one time, and now I kind of know where it fills up to in the bucket, so I don't measure exactly, but it's pretty close. So this is the feed in the bucket. This is bag feed still. I do have a supplier now that I'm going to get bulk feed from once I run out of this stuff. So what I do, I pour in water so the grain's covered completely. It's probably an inch above where the grain is. It's probably gonna have to be completely redone because Mama's being grouchy. So once the water's in there, I just stir it up. All right, I think she's done with her temper tantrum. So what I've done is I put water in here like an inch above the grains, and the grains have already soaked it all up. It's kind of solid now. So if it soaks it all up and becomes like, I don't know, just really thick and dense, then I add more to it just to thin it out. All right, she was just not willing to let this conversation happen. She's very pathetic. So grains are in, water's in, water above the grains like an inch, stir it. Stir it again. All right, so this is kind of the consistency you want. When you pick it up, you want it to fall out of your hand, but you don't want it so thin that you can't pick it up. Now what I would do here is if I was just feeding them wet feed, I'll just feed this to them. If I wanted it to ferment, I would add more water to it, just a little bit more, thin it down, and then let it sit for 8 to 12 hours, preferably in like a low 70 degree area, and it'll ferment. And the reason I started doing this is because I've heard a few other people talk about it on podcasts and stuff. You notice immediately that they consume a lot less water. When you're feeding them dry feed, when you go in with your water bucket, they're just on you, just super motivated to get water. When you're feeding them fermented or wet feed, when you go in there with a water bucket, they kind of just mosey over and take a sip. So they're definitely getting a lot of water this way, as well as the fact that they're getting fuller. Like Mama, she's rationed, so if I just gave her dry feed, she would probably still be hungry. She's never grateful, so she's probably never satisfied truly. But when you have a fermented feed or a wet feed, it fills her up faster, so she feels satisfied. It'd be no different than if you ate 4 pieces of pizza and then drank, 4 or 5 glasses of water. You'd feel really full. So it's kind of the same idea. Also, an added benefit is I feel it absorbs the grain, the nutrients absorb more in their body. They can process it better. And the reason I say that is because the manure is drastically different from when you feed dry feed to fermented feed. When you feed dry feed, their manure just looks like grain, basically, brown grain. And when you ferment the feed or do wet feed, it seems as though there's less grain in the manure. The manure kind of just looks more like poop than grain. So that's kind of the reason that I do it. It seems to be working really well. I've grown a couple animals on this, feeding them this way, and they turned out really well. Mom was one of them. And yeah. So I do have another supplier of a bulk supplier of grain that I'm going to use now. And that being said, right off the bat, there's still absolutely no way that I can raise a pig, process it, and sell it for $600. Even buying 3 tons of grain at a time, which is about as cheap as you're going to get it. So it will save me a few dollars a day, but at the end of 8 months and at the end of the process bill and getting it to the consumer, $600 is still just way undervalued. That being said, when I do get my first order, which will probably be, I have 2 more bags of feed left, so probably this coming week sometime I'll get my first bulk order of grain. Once I do that, I'll break down the numbers again and go over them with the new numbers. But still, you're looking at, to actually be profitable, you're still looking at a $900 to $1,100 animal at the end of the day. But we'll go over all that later. I've made some progress on the wing. Show it from afar. Put the strips across. I'm going to put a steel roof on it. Hopefully that animal will be coming within a couple weeks. tomorrow's project is getting those waters in with the pigs. And yeah, I just wanted to do a quick video. People have been asking about the feed, so hopefully it will all flow nicely in the video, because where I started and where I finished is different, thanks to Mama. But that'll do it for now. I appreciate all you guys subscribing, liking, following along, sharing with friends, commenting. It's really cool. I've seen a couple people say that, you know, they're really enjoying the videos, and it brings light to their day. So, I mean, that's just awesome that I can film what I enjoy doing and it brings joy to other people. So, once again, I appreciate all you guys. Until next time, keep farming. We'll see you later.